Here we go. All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited for everybody to be here for the Freedom Family Call. Tonight, we have a guest speaker, Cara, and so I'm going to read a little bit of what she shared with her story, but I'm going to tell you guys, I met her at a retreat. It was 4 years ago?
Yeah.
4? So she's been a coach for 5 years. I've been a coach for 5.5. And when we were younger coaches, Summer offered a diamond retreat at her house in Palm Springs, California, for anyone who hit diamond. And so I flew out to California. I went to her house. She broke us into groups with people that we didn't know on purpose, which was crazy. But it was awesome because I got to meet coaches like Cara, and Kimberly Wilcox was there, and Caitlin Redmond, and just coaches in the Team Courage family I never would have gotten a chance to spend time with, and just almost at the baby stages of our business. So watching her through her journey, I don't follow a ton of coaches on Instagram stories, but I follow you because I love, I do love that. Yeah, because she's the real deal, y'all. Not that I don't really think there's anybody super fake on this whole team, but I think that there are certain people that have a gift of sharing ups, downs, ins, out. Here it is. Here's who I am, my brand of me. And that's what I want for us to all do in this business. And so she's been a coach for 5 years. After losing 100 pounds without Beachbody, she decided she needed this community to help her keep it off. 16 months ago, she had her third baby and found herself with almost 90 pounds to lose again, and this time with the products that she loves so much. She's learned a lot about people in the last 5 years and how connecting her story through social media can help others. And tonight she's going to share how she does that. So I just want you guys, so many times we all say, I don't have anyone to invite. I don't know who to invite, or I don't know what to post. And they really are connected. And so take notes, you know what I mean? Ask questions. You hear me talk all the time. You hear us talk all the time. But tonight we have someone who's here with us, who's part of this big family tree. But I want you to see how she's paved her way so that you can create that path for yourself, or that, branch of the tree, or whatever analogy you want to say, because you have your unique people that need you. And I know she's going to share some awesome stuff so that you don't have to have that worry of who do I invite, or how do I connect? And so I'm going to close my mouth and let you take over.
That's perfect, Kelly. That's actually, spot on exactly what I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight. Unfortunately, I wanted to have a little PowerPoint going and all that stuff. And then with yesterday's blackout, it was well, that's out the window. I can't put screenshots together because I couldn't access anything. And so yesterday was the only time I had to put that together. So I apologize now, but definitely I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the things that I share. And go check out my Instagram because really that's where I do the majority of my work. Although I link Instagram and Facebook, so everything that's on Instagram is over on Facebook. I'll tell you a little bit of the differences that I use. Mostly my engagement stuff happens over on Facebook, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about that. But let me just a little bit more about myself. I live in San Francisco. I'm born and raised. I'm actually fourth generation native San Franciscan, which is unheard of. No one who lives here is actually born here anymore. And lucky enough, we live in this great, beautiful house, and we actually live with my parents. So there are 4 adults, and then I have 3 kids. Brock is 10 and a half, Silas is 9, and then we have a 16-month-old daughter. And she is just the light of for all of us, super joyful. It's just been so much fun. And we're done. Unfortunately, that's it. But we're having a great time. So thanks, Kelly. I think she's adorable too. So let me tell you guys, 7 years ago, actually, I think I'm approaching the 8-year mark. I was a mom of 2 toddlers. Brock and Silas were, 3 and 2, and I literally had lost myself. I lost myself in them and in just kind of food, although everyone told me I didn't look like I was that overweight, and they told me that they thought I ate really well because I was eating salads that were gigantic and full of cheese and creamy dressing and croutons, really. I mean, how can you not have a salad with croutons? But that was the thing. So I thought I ate okay, but I was very sedentary, hardly ever moved my body. And here I was with 2 toddlers who wanted to go to the playground and they wanted to be active. And I wanted to be a really good example for them. And for my 30th birthday, my older sister, who was also significantly overweight, we decided that we wanted to try out for The Biggest Loser. And we drove from here to Southern California and we auditioned. And we thought that we were going to be the next big hit on the show. Like, we got along really well. We had a really good relationship. And we thought for sure they were going to want us on that show. And, I started to freak out a little bit. I was like, I have 2 kids and you have to like commit like 16 months to the show, whether you're like on it for that long or you are recording and then available to them. So I like started freaking out. I didn't really want that. I prayed that we weren't going to get it, and if you do that, obviously we know the things that you think about are the things that happen. So we didn't get it. Thank God. But we also decided on that road trip, like, we had to do something different. Something had to change. And so we talked about some of our options and we found out that The Biggest Loser had a resort in Southern California, and then they started popping up all over the country. And for my 30th birthday, my husband, who is my #1 fan and literally supports everything that I do, gave me 2 weeks at The Biggest Loser resort. So if you think about the TV show, we worked out for 7 hours a day and we ate 1,200 calories that were provided. So, the idea behind it was they wanted us to just kind of like dive right in and do everything and find something that we loved. We did aerobics, we did dance, we did water aerobics, we went hiking, which I fell in love with. But what really struck a chord and struck me was having a visit with a life coach there. And they lay down the foundation. They lay down what I call now my basics. And you have to constantly find basics when it comes to your journey, when it comes to your story, and when it comes to how you share that with people. And so I took from that my basics of what I was going to do when I came home. And I've now applied it to everything in my life. So back then, my basics were that I was going to work out 3 times a week and I was going to track everything that I ate. Oh, hold on. I might have to plug this in. Hold on. Let's see. How can I do this? Can you still hear me?
You fit right in around here. None of us really know how to do Zooms and keep
we can totally hear you.
I love it. Let me just go grab my cord. Hold on.
Sure.
Sorry.
It's okay. I loved hearing part of her story, but I'm glad she's retelling it because she shared it in California and I haven't heard the whole thing since then because we got to sit next to each other at dinner one night, which was cool. Oh my gosh, 7 hours of working out. I would die. 7 hours, Cara. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it was exciting. It was fun.
I'm sure, yeah. Can imagine.
What we signed up for.
But not for 16 months. Could you imagine if you did that for 16 months?
No.
Sean T would be like, nah.
I'm good for 20 minutes.
Yes. That's awesome, though.
Okay. I think I've got this. Okay. And then I won't disconnect. You're just going to come closer.
Totally fine.
You're going to see that I didn't make my bed because we're...
Okay. I didn't make mine today either.
Sorry about that. Okay. Now I have the sun's going to start setting, so we're going to have weird things on my face.
You're good.
So back to where I was. So basics. And I've now applied it to my business. I tell my challengers to identify their basics. And you can do it, like I said, from everything from how often you're going to work out to how you're going to track your food or how often you're going to check in with your coach. And so I've started to do that with my social media. And there are things that I do with social media now that I continue to like adapt and change, because we constantly have to be willing to learn and change things up a little bit. So there's even things that Summer posted just this week where I'm like, ooh, that's really good. I need to start adapting that or start using that. So I'm constantly taking things that other people are doing or sharing when it comes to social media, and I test it. So that is one of the things that I will tell you guys is I'm constantly testing things, whether it's time or engagement, and then also the type of post that I share. Although if you go check out my Instagram, you're going to see that I'm pretty, I have a strategy that I use, mostly because I am like very visual. And so when I go to my Instagram, I like to see that it's a motivational quote or something quotey, and then a picture. And I'm going to tell you guys, there's actually 3 things that I'm going to go over with you guys. I like to do numbers. I like to make sure there's tips here or ways, you know, organize myself a little bit, even though I'm total chaos. But I'm going to tell you guys that that's the way that I do it, because it works for what my message is. So don't go and try to change up your Instagram or change up what you're doing. But I want you guys to really think hard about what it is you're trying to put into the world. So I made my word for the year. And my purpose for it is because I want to be joy, find joy, and create joy. And so every single time that is bring joy to someone, or I'm personally creating joy in the world. And that is something that that's new for him. Like, what can I put next? And I didn't really feel like there was a system behind it. And so now I try to be really focused on that. So there's actually 3 things that I want you guys, I'm going to give you guys 3 things that you can do to make sure you're a really good storyteller when it comes to your social media. And the first thing, and maybe it's something that Kelly's gone over with you, or it's something that you do, you have to know your social media pillars. And that can be anything from 3 to 5 things that make you you. So for example, my social media pillars, number 1 is I strive to be an influencer with inspiration. So number 1 is I want to be inspirational. And I do that through motivational quotes. I do that through motivational or video, like I'll share YouTube videos or music. And that's how I'm inspirational. My second pillar is my family. I say I have a village. So, you know, we live with my parents, and then I have 2 sisters. And then my children, my parents get along really well with my in-laws. So I talk about my village a lot. They're really important to me. My grandparents, everyone is a part of that. And so that's my second pillar. My third pillar is my own journey, because it's a big one, right? So I connect with a lot of people because they see that I've lost 100 pounds. Now I've lost 70 pounds and I have 20 more to go, but that is part of who I am, because it's something that people really struggle with. So it's a pain point for a lot of people. And I know that sharing my journey, the pros and the cons, is something that is going to connect with people. The 4th thing that I share is San Francisco, because I'm a native, and it's a beautiful place and I know people love it. And then the 5th thing is my faith. So that gets like trickled in there kind of in everything, and you don't see it a lot because I really am very protective of it. But I also know that it's something that people can connect with. And it's also something that is difficult for people to talk about. And so I find that when I do put it in there, it's something that really does engage with people. So those are my 5 pillars. And something that I would challenge you guys to do is to identify your pillars, and then identify like 2 to 3 things that have to do with that. So, you know, like I do motivational quotes. Typically that's the first thing that I post in the morning. And I can't tell you how many times people are like, I needed to hear that. Or how did you know I'm going through the same thing? Or, you know, like whatever it is that I feel. So when I am challenged as a mom, when I am challenged in my marriage, when I have seen success in those things, I share that. And what I am dealing with or what I'm looking for, a lot of other people are too. So you have to identify what is it that I'm doing right now or need right now, because you're not the only one. So think about that when you're thinking about your pillars. Number 2, you ready? Number 2 is plan ahead. So Kelly, I'm not sure if you provide them with like a social media posting schedule. Do you do that at all? No?
I
Okay.
would love that,
No.
because I'm
You
such a
do too. You absolutely do. It's on both of our trackers.
Oh, I do. Yes.
Okay.
But not something you can plan ahead.
It's
like,
not the, Summer gave us one a while ago that was a whole month with all kinds of different topics. This is like a breadcrumb post, a lifestyle post, you know
the
you
tracker,
fill in the content, but
tracker.
the topic is there.
The Josh tracker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so
do you
that's
do something to actually plan ahead though? Because like I'm on the fly. Like I'll look on Monday and be like, oh, I got to do an encouragement thing, and then I just make one up. Like I don't plan ahead what I'm going to do Monday, and I think I need to.
Yeah. So I plan ahead every day before. So, or the night before. So at the very last thing that I do when I do my power hour, the very last thing I do is plan tomorrow. I can't remember who taught me this. Kelly, gosh, I feel like it might have been you. But someone said, like, look ahead. So decide. So when you look ahead, so what I do is, this is going to look backwards, but I'm a pen and paper person. And then what I do is I put stuff on Streak. So that's how I track my people. However, what it comes down to is I plan ahead like this. So it's on paper. And what I do is you'll see, here's today's all filled out, but then tomorrow's is ready to go. And that's the last thing that I did in my power hour today. So I prepped that piece of paper, and I go into my tracker to see what is it that I need to be posting about tomorrow. And I write that down so I know.
I love that.
That's what I'm going to be doing.
Like I've always planned who I'm going to talk to or who I need to follow up with or what like videos I need to do, but I never thought to think ahead of especially with stories. I feel like it would help because sometimes in the morning you're not feeling inspirational necessarily. Right. So, okay.
Right. So I think about it the night before. In fact, I will actually prep my post for the next morning. Because, and the reason for that is because, especially in the last 16 months with an infant, I was finding that I was like sleeping in or like so like out of it in the morning. There was no way I was going to think about anything. So I think about it the night before. And I'll even prep it. I'll find the quote that I want to use. So if you go to my Instagram, you're going to see that one of the things that I do is a quote post and then a picture post. So if it's a picture, I'm going through looking for that picture. Something that I do, and you guys, I promise you this is going to be really helpful. So I have an iPhone 8. Is it an 8? I think it's an 8. But you have like the portrait mode. When I'm in really good light, I'll take a bunch of pictures. I'll take a bunch of like headshot pictures where everything is like blurry or blacked out behind me, so that I have those ready to go, so that I can post a picture of myself and then do the inspiration that goes with it, or the Coach Breadcrumb post, or whatever it might be that I'm gonna share, but I need a picture with it, right? And then I'll post, or I'll get ready and I'll prep that stuff the night before. And the next morning, all I have to do is put, post or whatever, so that it's ready to go. And I do that simply because I know the night before, like what it is that I've been feeling, what it is that I need to do, or I'm thinking ahead. Like today is Throwback Thursday. And usually on Fridays, I like to talk about my faith in some way. So I know that's something that I'm going to talk about. But like I was saying, you need to know what you're going to post, and you want to kind of plan ahead. And that is simply so that it's not complicated. The more that you can plan ahead, the better, because then you know who is going to maybe see it and who you're going to be reaching out to. And that is what comes down to number 3. Really quickly though, when it comes to posting, and I don't know if you talk about this, Kelly, but more recently we've been finding in posting that one really solid gold post is better than 5 mediocre or crappy. So really think about that. What I do is I do 1 to 2 posts a day, early in the day, like usually between 5:30 and 7 is when that first post gets posted. And then usually around this time. So like right now I have my Throwback Thursday post is ready to go. I just need to load it. And then everything else goes in stories. Everything else goes in stories. I post, a sweaty selfie, or I talk about getting ready for my workout. All that stuff goes in there. My, Energize, which I just started drinking a week ago. Literally, I just started drinking Energize. I didn't really like it in the beginning, but I just started drinking it. Now I love it. Everything else goes in stories, including I'll post things like, on a Throwback Thursday, I post something about coaching, my experience coaching and trips doing in coaching. So there are other options there to use stories in different ways. I also do, I use my stories to offer spots. So just today I said, I'm getting ready for April. I have 4 spots in my Transform 20 group and 4 spots in my nutrition group. And I tend to see some things, okay. So number 3, how do we connect with our audience with these posts? Some of you might be like, what? When I do any kind of post so not necessarily like peanut butter and jelly or turkey sandwich, and you ask people like what they prefer, that's more of like an engagement. You just want to see what people say. You're just having fun, right? I'm talking about like your progress pictures. I'm talking about your Throwback Thursday pictures, big like coach call to actions. I send a message to every single person that liked the post. And I just am sending it because those people want to be seen. Those people want to know that you see them. If you've been doing all of this social media, all of this engagement, all of these posts, all this inspiration, and you are influencing people, they want to be seen. They need to be seen. They need to know that you are there and that you care about them. I'm not even talking about sending them an invite. I'm talking about, how are you doing? It has been so long. And that is all, Kelly, I'll send you, I'm working on a Google Doc of some of the like short little snippet things that I've been saying to people. One of them is, especially on my stories, if I am sharing like major stuff, I send a message to every single person that watched my story. Thank you so much for watching my stories. I really appreciate it. I know that might have taken a long time, or whatever it is, like I just let them know, like I see them, I see that they're there. Some people are like, oh, I just, scroll through. Like some people are like, oh, she knows that I'm looking, that I'm watching, like they get a little bit nervous. But the thing is that we want them to know that we're there. And that initial seed is getting planted. because I can't tell you how many times I have reached out to a person, just said, hey, thanks so much for watching my stories. They're like, you are so motivating. I need to get started. How do I do it? Like, I didn't even have to do an invite. They invited themselves. And that is something that you can do every single day. And like Kelly said, you can prep who you're going to talk to the next day based on your stories, based on your posts. I go through and I look at, okay, who is it that looked at my post in the last day and a half, especially after yesterday's fiasco. I now have like 33 people who I can send that message to. Because of what happened yesterday, I had like random stuff. And I went through, I messaged like 20 people last night who randomly have not liked anything in a really long time. And I just sent them a message. A couple people got back to me and they're like, I know I said yes a long time ago. I didn't even ask them. I wasn't even going for the follow-up. I was just saying, hey, it's been a while. How are you doing? Literally, that's all I had to say. And then they're coming back to me following up. And so that is something that we can think about in terms of how we are connecting with people. And like I said, it's planting those initial seeds with people, even if they never respond, even if they never, ever respond to you, you have planted a seed and you have built that trust. And what it comes down to is maybe in a month, I'm going to send them another message and another message. And then eventually they're going to be like, I'm sorry, I never talked to you. Or, you know, like, I'm hardly ever on here, but you are an inspiration. Even just hearing that feedback is really, really helpful when it comes to who we are as leaders and influencers on social media. And then I think that's it. I would say, like, it's really important to understand your pillars, because that's where it's going to come down to how you are connecting with people. And remember, your pillars have to be things that you love. Don't do something that you hate. So if you hate to cook, don't say you're going to post a recipe every week. People kind of are going to get to know that you don't really like to cook. Or maybe talk about how you hate to cook, and you're looking for help with that. So just think about really being genuine in what your pillars are every single day. And make sure, that's the last thing that I was going to tell you guys, do like a social media self-evaluation every so often. Make sure that you're tapping on those other things, because it does show variety. And maybe like when you do post about your faith, you get a different group of people liking your posts. So that's something to also make sure you're doing. I would say do it like monthly, but it might be really helpful to do it weekly too.
That was so good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Rebecca had a question.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I can't see the chat.
Okay, I can read it. It just says, are those posts specifically about fitness and business and groups, or also those posts that are part of your pillars? Rebecca, what do you want to say?
Yeah. So you're referring to the ones that the people that you messaged, those that have liked things and noticed your posts. So are you talking about what type of post? Because if we're posting about our pillars and stuff, do you message everybody who's ever liked any post, or is it like a specific certain type of post?
It's more specific. So it's usually about my journey, and it's usually about like health and fitness, because usually those are the more vulnerable posts, right? So your more vulnerable posts, those are the people I'll reach out to, and I just say thank you. And I'll thank them for supporting my journey. I'll thank them for, helping me stay accountable, whether they knew they were or not. So things like that. And then that is when you open the door for conversation, especially on those posts. But it doesn't necessarily just have to be. It can be something where you feel really passionate about something, and you wanted to talk about it, and then you start to see a lot of different people. You just reach out to those people and message all of them.
I like that.
Yeah.
That was good. And I think you're right. It's like you kind of have to play around with different things too, and see it all as data. Like just like with TV Mindset, we play around with food and see what works. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like I think, do you do a lot with your Facebook stories? Because like I feel like I need to look at mine. I forget to even look and see who's looking at my Facebook stories. And I've noticed that some days they get a lot of views and some days they don't, but I'm thinking, oh, I needed like,
Yeah. So I have connected Instagram and Facebook. So everything that gets posted to Instagram goes to Facebook.
Yeah.
However, I'm starting to learn to, like, there are some times when I'll do a different kind of engagement boost, say on Facebook. So all my engagement boosts are happening on Facebook. I hardly do any engagement boosts on Instagram. So that all is happening over on Facebook. And sometimes I'll add something additional to the story on Facebook, just because I want to pull people back to that post, because that's separate from Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. I know. And it's funny when you said about recipes. I don't follow them. I just make stuff up in the kitchen, and I would post a picture.
Right.
People were like, I want the recipe. And then I'm like, crap, now I have to do it and measure it and put it on paper. So now I just post it in the thing. I don't even send it to people because I got so overwhelmed. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't use those posts to connect with people anymore. I do it to add value if it's simple, but I stopped because it was so stressful for me. I was like, I don't want to send this fat bomb to 50 people. Like you know, but so do what you like, you know what I mean? No, that was really good. Does anybody else have any questions? And I love how you shared about the planning thing with the post the night before, because I think I could take what I did this morning in prayer time and get it set up for tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because they don't know I did it today necessarily. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And that would save me, because I don't get up super early anymore either. So I love that you shared that, because that would take, sometimes I'm like, it's noon and I haven't posted anything because
you get wrapped up in the morning or whatever it is, or you are like at a roadblock, like you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so when I just even like thinking ahead, what engagement boost can I do? Or, you know, like what question can I ask people to kind of get some people stirred up?
Yeah.
So and thinking about that, and it's the last thing that I do is I prep my day for, I mean, I think a lot of people do that. They prep their day, whether it's the people they're going to connect with or the people they're going to follow up with, but add your social media to that, add your posts. Even if it's just one, it's really helpful when it comes to the rest of your, like just the rest of your day.
Yeah, I agree. And I would say one thing she said, y'all, that was really good too, to take note of, like we've talked about the pillars, but I like how you described your pillars. Like so many times people classify pillars as just categories, but yours were like who you want to be in that pillar. So instead of just saying like family, like yours is village. Like for mine, it would be like tiny tribe of humans. Like I have all these kids. So that's like my family pillar is like crazy 3-year-old life right now. But make it yours, you know what I mean? Not just family, like yours is the village, which I love, or you want to be inspiring, like not, you know, that's where inspirational quotes are like, you're unique in what the pillar is for you, your flavor, I guess would be, you know what I mean? So like, think about that. If y'all have written pillars down before, you know, like your journey, what part of your journey? So that way I've never thought about saying it that way, where you're like, getting clear about what does fitness mean to you? Like, is it not just Beachbody? It needs to be the part of your fitness journey. Mine's a lot of confidence and mindset change that's happened more in my life that I try to communicate, but everybody's is different. So that was really good, y'all. I would definitely go back but I love how you shared too about, I took a lot of notes. It's funny. Like I laughed because when you said that and then Sarah's like, you said that. I'm like, oh yeah. I guess I needed to hear it again, because you just forget and you hear it like, but this was really helpful, because I think sometimes like we have a lot of people we can connect with. And I like how you said too, the other thing that really struck me was people want to know that we see them. And so, She Works His Way put this thing out today. It was an email about how so many people think social media is about likes, like who sees us, but it's not. It's about us seeing other people.
Yeah.
It's like, and that was like full circle. So awesome. Does anybody else have any questions? So I don't want to keep you too long. I know it's probably getting close to dinner. I want to go to San Francisco one day.
Come. It's a great city.
I've never been.
And I do like touristy stuff. There's like a whole part of San Francisco people don't see. And that's where my life happens. We're not downtown, the Golden Gate Bridge. That's like over there. Yeah, we're on this side.
Next team retreat.
I'm still traumatized from the guy who jumped out at the bush at me. So you have to promise not to take me there.
No, I won't.
What? In San Francisco?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we'll have to talk about that later.
We have some interesting people here.
San Francisco. Okay, yeah, we'll have our team retreat next year in San Francisco.
There you go.
That'd be so fun. Well, thank you so much. I usually prayer for our call, if that's cool, and I'll pray for you. And I will send you the recording so you can share it with your coaches. And like I said, if I can ever help with anything, let me know. But I appreciate you. And y'all follow this girl. Like, I love how you share. And I love the village thing because we are like up in Ohio and no family around. So it's so cool to see that dynamic too. Yeah. Just a really cool thing. Well, let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this night. Thank you for Cara. Thank you for her story. Lord, thank you for the way she is sharing her life on a daily basis and just living out the calling you have for her, God. She's such a light and a positive and inspirational woman, mother, wife. God, I just ask that you would bless her family, bless her team, help her to grow this year, help her to grow in joy in her own life, and then in sharing that joy with others. I know that she shares it daily, Lord, and I experience joy when I see her things that she shares, and I'm so thankful she came here to be with us tonight, God. I just pray for our team, our challengers, the people that we will be reaching out to, that they would have an open heart to receive just our hand and for lives to change this year, God. And we just offer all these things in your most holy name. Amen. Thank you so much for being here with us.
I appreciate it. This was fun to do. And it makes me feel special. It makes me feel like I've got more to share than I usually do. So,
no, you do. And I think the thing is, I totally understand, Team Courage, the changes is fine. Like, I get it. But one thing I'm glad is that I was a part of it long enough that I know, like, you and other people I got to be in a room with, that I can bring for y'all to meet. Because these are the people that change, like, I got to meet, that helped me figure out who I am as a coach and as a wife and as a mom, And so thank you for being here tonight. You really have so much to share. Like, I really do. I look forward to your stories, like, every day.
Aww, thank you.
Yeah. You
really
guys. Oh, yeah. You're welcome. Everybody, y'all have a good night. Take care.
Good night, you guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.